Hello, 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 everybody. This is your girl, Miss Trina, with Chat with Trina. So you want to dance, and I am excited that you're gonna click in with me tonight. I never take your support for granted. Make sure you go to youtube.com/chat with Trina and subscribe. Then make sure y'all click the little bell so you can be notified every time I open up a new upload a new video. Today I am here. We finally got our schedule synchronized. I have Miss PJ. Is it Douglas Sands? So do you go by both Douglas Sands? Here and
Sans is good.
okay. I've talked about her a few times with you guys and let you know she is a travel extraordinaire, entertainment. Event planner, entertainment. She does a lot of things in insurance because someone called me about the insurance for a trip today. But she's your girl. I'm gonna talk to her about her business and about her and let her do some talking about some things that we've had questions about with the travel business. But also at the end, I'm gonna let her give you information. One on the importance of travel insurance, and then two, let her tell you about how you can contact her to either get into training for your business or into travel, whatever it is you need. From what I know from my mom, she loves to help. Oh, and she's even helped me with something outside of all of this. So yes. How are you doing, Miss PJ?
I am blessed. I'm blessed. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Oh, and you know what? I forgot the most important thing, y'all. Y'all know this is my birthday, so this is I can't even think of the name of my theme right now. Celebrating my birthday all month long. This is Trina's favorite people month, and I do this every year. So you are you're actually the first favorite person this month. So thank you for joining me for my birthday month.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I won't make you sing.
I have a very good voice, so you might really love that.
Look at
We'll save that for the end.
Trade. That's so funny. I wouldn't have put that on your title. I wouldn't have thought of that. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Trina, I have been in the travel and hotel industry this is my 24th year. I actually started my career at Atlantis Paradise Island Resort, where I worked for 5 years in celebrity events, VIP services, and conference services. So that's actually how I got the travel bug hit me while I'm working in the Bahamas. My family is originally from the Bahamas and Jamaica, so I'm a Caribbean island gal. They say a mix of like conch salad. So I love talking about the Caribbean, whether it's the English speaking Caribbean where I'm from, or whether it's the Spanish speaking or the French speaking. I just love the Caribbean and everything that it represents. From a background perspective, I started with Atlantis. I ended up starting my own destination management company in 2002 to handle celebrity events and weddings in the Bahamas. And then in 14 actually, I got offered a job to work at the Bahamas Tourist Office. So I actually ran the Bahamas Tourist Office here in Houston for several years, where I was responsible for training travel agents and meeting planners on how to sell the destination in over 28 different states. So a lot of times people may know me from there, not realizing that I've had a background as a travel agent and an event planner, as well as in the hotel industry for a very long time. So I was glad to get back out on my own. In 2018, I reopened the doors of Lux Worldwide Travel, my love. And then I was really on the journey as I started to approach my 40s. We get that feeling where we're talking about generational wealth and we're talking about building our own retirement. And as an entrepreneur, it becomes so hard because you want to reinvest every dollar you make in your business. So I ended up exploring my own financial literacy, and through that ended up opening another company called MoneyWorks Financial, where we assist individuals, families, and business owners in getting life and health and retirement solutions. So that has been a blessing as well, because it's really made me more well-versed as an entrepreneur, and I've been able to help so many people. I love my coaching class that I do with business owners called Moneymaker Mindset that we do, and I think it's really great to just focus on productivity creativity, and also to be able to empower individuals and families to be
Mm.
able to live well and travel well. So that's really what I'm all about, right? I want you to travel well, save your money, save your coins,
And have
so
some
that you can
coins.
enjoy wealth. That's
Yes,
right.
definitely.
Uh,
I love it. And it ties in so well. You wouldn't really think all of that tied in like that, but it definitely does tie in. We're gonna kind of be not all over the place, but all over the place because I have so many different things going on in my head that I wanted to talk to you about. Fiona, oh, you're tagging somebody. So first I want to ask you about when you started doing when you got the travel bug or the hotel travel industry bug. What did your family think? Was that the first thing that was that the path you were supposed to take?
Well, originally, I went to college. I went to Columbia University, Barnard College, actually, to study pre med because all smart people become
Wow.
doctors. So my family,
Doctors and
and
lawyers,
I
right?
hated it. I know. So I did both actually. I went and I was pre med, and I didn't tell my family that
Uh-huh.
I spent most of my time at Columbia planning concerts and events. I did, the Fugees, Tribe Called Quest, Guns N' Roses,
Wow.
Smith and Wesson, Maroon 5. Like I've done a lot of big concerts, and I started doing entertainment at Columbia actually. So it was kind of funny that when I got to the Bahamas and got into the hotel industry, and they wanted me to be in special events, I was like, of course, this
This
is
is
what it's about.
me. Exactly. Exactly. So on that note, you mentioned celebrities and I don't know the big people like you. I wish I did. I might as well because the ones I deal with now are they act like they're that. So I might as well deal with them. I'm gonna have to switch out and get over there and deal with them. But how as a woman have you navigated this male dominated world of entertainment?
Well, the interesting thing is when you walk into a hotel, the vast majority of people you see at the customer service roles are women.
Mm,
But the C-suite level, the managers, the directors, the vice presidents, somehow are men.
yeah.
Right. So as we consider to try to knock on that glass ceiling,
Mhm.
I encourage people to invest in themselves in order to get promoted. And oftentimes you see the fact that because the pretty girls, they want to put you on the front desk, they want to
Yeah.
put you in the front office so you can talk to people, but they don't want to
Mhm.
promote you, despite what's in your brain. So I think that
Definitely.
was really a huge challenge for me. But I changed that challenge into an opportunity, because when you are prepared and the opportunity hits you, it's like a easy. So like I would say I had a 1 month transition from when I was in corporate, because I was at corporate at Atlantis and I was actually in law school at the time. So I
Oh, God.
did pursue law school. Uh, smart people finding themselves.
Yes,
And
yes.
they said, we have this opening. Lenny Kravitz is throwing a birthday party for his grandfather. This is going to be your first sink or swim event. And I was like,
Wow. Let's
yes,
do it.
where
Yeah,
is he? Let's
yeah,
do it, Lenny.
yeah.
And that was my first celebrity event at Atlantis, where I got to work with Lenny. Then a month later, I worked with Whitney Houston. Then I worked with U2. Then I worked with Jimmy Buffett. So I didn't just work with African American
Right, right.
entertainers, but it came to find out that, when people realized I was detail oriented, they just kept
Mhm.
putting stuff on my plate and I just kept knocking it out the park. So that's where I just
Let
got the
me
bug for it, and I've
let
continued to
me
pursue
pin you
that.
right. Let me pin you right there. You said something that my daughter and I talk about all the time. Um, when you are an overachiever to a certain extent, are you always doing it right? You're the one that take all the extra. You tend to still get that. They keep piling more and more on you. What advice do you give to someone my daughter, who has decided, well, you know what, I'm just going to do the bare minimum because they're going to keep putting stuff on me because I always do it, but they don't want to pay me for it or they're not going to promote me for it.
I think that's the wisdom. A lot of us who get into these roles are big volunteers. We volunteer at church, our sororities, our fraternities, our high school reunion, right? Because we have
Yeah.
that spirit. So it's very hard to identify to yourself, hey, I'm not the nonprofit association in my life.
Yeah.
Like I can't eat off of my
Thank
goodness,
you.
and there's a lot of people out there who are like trying to eat. And so a lot of times people like get on me because I understand that there's value. When you go out to hire Colin Cowie or Preston Bailey as your wedding planner, you're not expecting to get them on the free 99. So why is it that when you hire me, who has worked with Colin Cowie and Preston Bailey, that you don't believe I deserve gas money? You don't believe to come speak at your event. You don't believe I deserve an hourly fee. You want me to bring my whole staff, but you don't believe they should be paid. You expect us to come on this cruise with you, but you don't expect my cabin to be covered. Like, I didn't want to go with you to Aruba. Like, that wasn't my thing. I was just planning on doing. Right. So the advice I would give your daughter is very simple. You are not the nonprofit association of your life. Whatever you pour out, you are a vessel. So when you're pouring out and giving of yourself, your intellect, your energy, just something needs to be poured back in. Whether that's emotional support, whether that's in kind, like my business is being promoted to be with, with your business, we're partnering, or cash, dollar bills, y'all. Like, where does the money reside, as they say?
That part
is that to get paid.
Yeah.
So
that is okay. I definitely like that. Something that I've over the last couple of years, I've definitely been working on. I mean, even something that I'm doing now is somewhere I work that I gave a flat fee, but when it came to time to work over that, it was only $10 more, but I had to charge you more because I gave you a flat fee for that, but you want me to work over, it's going to be some more money. And they did not want to do it. And even though the personality that I have was like, oh, I should just do it. But I had to say, nope, can't do it. I just can't, because it's the principle of the thing that my time is valuable, So the next thing is
Uber, Trina. I also want to add something. When you're in an Uber and you say, Uber, take me to this destination, and they say, cool, it's going to be $20. How do you expect to then drive to Austin and Dallas and Louisiana in the car for the same $20? So sometimes we just need to break it down to people as an example. Like, you cannot get the same distance,
Definitely.
So.
And you feel it. Well, I felt empowered when I did it. At first, I felt silly and being petty. But I was like, no, I'm not being silly. But I've done this business for years of working at venues and not getting paid. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care if it's $5 that would be extra. I need it or I can't do it. So it felt empowering to demand your, even though it wasn't that much, demand what I needed. Next thing, I told everyone we were going to talk a little bit about entertainment cruises. A little bit. So my mom and I, we were doing the Zydeco cruises. We're doing the R&B cruise. We're trying to do this R&B cruise now. I think sometimes people don't really understand what is involved in the travel agent. Why does the travel agent get the money that they get? Because they'll be like, well, I could just do my own cruise. But can you help mention some of the things that the travel agent has to do, the job of a travel agent or specialist has to do, the event, and actually the travel agent is the event planner for this kind of cruise too. Why do we get paid? Why are we worth getting paid, getting this commission?
Okay, so there are 15 key things that a travel agent does, and there are 10 key things that a meeting planner, event planner does.
Oh, wow.
So people have to understand the person who books you. When you used to walk into a travel agency back in the day, they weren't going anywhere with you. They were just booking you, handling your air, your ground transportation, your accommodations, whether it's a cruise or a hotel. They were ensuring that the contractual obligations were met, and they were pre-arranging any space that you might need on board at the hotel for your party or on the cruise line for your party, your concerts, your meet and greets, right? So that's one set of items. Now you're talking about the event planner. So the event planner is doing the welcome bags. The event planner is making sure that everything on the ship is going well. The event planner is making sure that everyone has wristbands who paid for the various events and their t-shirts and that their dinner reservations were made. Is making sure that the band sound check is there, that the mic sounds great, that the DJ's taken care of. That's the event planner. So when you're talking about a fee, the travel agent who handled your accommodations, air, hotel, ground transfers, and the bookings versus the event planner who's handling all of that stuff on board or in destination. Two totally different people could be, or it could be one company combined to do both. So the fee that you're charging is a completely different fee. The accommodation fee, which oftentimes people go, well, why should I pay a travel agent? Because the travel agent is already getting paid. Well, that's not always the case. Depending on who you book through, sometimes you say, okay, I would like my travel agent to get a commission. So that means every single room or cabin that is booked, the travel agent gets a percentage of that as their payment. Sometimes you go in and negotiate and say, hey, I want the lowest rate possible. And sometimes that lowest rate means cutting the travel agent's commission. So that means you, as the client or the group leader or the Pied Piper, you now need to pay me for doing accommodations, air, transfers, and all of that because you took my commission out of the mix.
Yeah.
So now I'm now coming in. Now we've booked. You've got your confirmation numbers. You're paid in full. I might have had to run after you because you wanted 10 installments, 20 installments, 30 installments, right? I might have had to place a deposit on your behalf for your group to actually solidify this group space that now as you pay me installment by installment, you're reimbursing me because I had to come out of my pocket. You might want decorations. I might have to go to Michael's or a wholesaler and get decorations for your event on board. So now I need to take additional luggage because I got all your t-shirts, your lanyards, your things in my bag. So oftentimes from that perspective, people don't understand that out of those 15 key things that you're doing as event planner and the agent, and I'll name them real quick, right? Accommodations, air, transportation, food and beverage, providing the rooming list so that everybody's paid for and tracking those prices, any VIP amenities delivered for your guests. So you might have a birthday girl or somebody like that who are some VIPs, booking your entertainment. That's number 7. Facilitating installments. That's number 8. Ensuring all your travelers have their visas and their passports. How many times do you have people get on board and they don't have the proper documents? Offering travel insurance. You may have to go to a third party to get that. Building a page and a flyer for you to come advertise your events. People forget about that. Sometimes there's a cost to that. Yeah. And connecting with the local, excursion companies so that when you go to each destination, you have a tour to go on. People don't remember that either. So those are just some of the things we do as travel agents that we don't realize we need to get paid for every single piece.
And then when you combine those two, like we mentioned, together of us trying to do it all, it's a lot of work. And I even think about, we sold almost 300 cabins to a cruise that we did some years ago. Great cruise, really good cruise. And we made some money. But when you step back to think about, so if you sell, let's just say 256, I believe was the number, 256 cabins. You have 2 to 4 people. I'm going to just go back, 1 to 4 people in that cabin. So how many times the 256 cabins, how many different personalities do you have to deal with for an entire year? I mean, that's a cost. That's a work by itself. You know what I mean? And so that is one of the things that I always think about is how many. And I'm not saying everybody's bad, but everybody wants it when they want it, how they want it, and that takes up a lot as well. So thank you for that. I think oftentimes people don't think about what's going on behind the scenes. I took a picture when I did that cruise and I was surrounded by t-shirts. Like I had all these t-shirts. I was so tired, PJ. I was so sick of looking at the t-shirt. I didn't want a t-shirt no more. Like I was so sick of folding t-shirts, putting the name by the t-shirt. It was just too much. So yes. And I always ask people who do event planning and different things like that, what do you get out of it? And we all say the same thing. It's like, once it's all the work, all the stress, but once it's done, you get to kind of sit back and look, and you be like, I was a part of bringing all this happiness and joy and making these people have this great time. That is I mean, you get a little money, but the joy comes from that part. For me, that is my what I love about it. I do want to get into insurance. And someone asked me about insurance today. It was so funny. You and I had a conversation about Contracts, of course, oftentimes they say there's a certain part of your deposit that is non-refundable. If you cancel, if they cancel, whatever. You and I talked about what type of the two types of insurance. There's one that you can get with the cruise line, one you can get that's a third party. Let's talk about that and the difference and what insurance, why is it important to get the insurance when you travel? Did that make sense?
Okay.
I hope it
So
makes
let's, yes, it does. So let's talk about generally. If
Okay.
you are driving your car, I'm an analogy girl. You are
Yeah.
driving we're going to put you in a Benz today.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
you're driving your Benz with no insurance. So when someone hits you or you hit someone, the cost of repairing your Benz is all you. If you go on a vacation where you've saved for a year or two to go on this vacation, wouldn't you also want to make sure you have insurance to ensure that if you get injured or you can't go anymore or something happens, that's also not a burden? So point blank, yes, the answer is yes, right? So what are some of the things that make the difference? Well, if I cancel, do I want to be able to just show up 2 hours before I'm supposed to check in and say, I just don't feel like going to Aruba anymore? Somebody give me my money back. That's cancel for any reason, meaning I don't have no reason. I'm not sick. I just want to be able to just change my mind. This is good for people who have people with illnesses in their family, right? Where something might happen. You have a daughter, a granddaughter, niece, or something that's expecting a baby. The baby might come early. You don't know what circumstances you might need to just cancel. You have a crazy job. Your job might say, even though you had this vacation for a year, we need you to work because something has happened. So a person who's ideal for cancel for any reason is someone with those circumstances. My grandmother might get sick and I say, I can't be on a cruise ship for 5 days while she's in the hospital, but I didn't know a year ago she was going to be in the hospital next week. So cancel for any reason is more expensive because there's no reason or rhyme why you can just call and cancel. So then that steps down to non-refundables, right? So when you're talking about cancel for a covered reason, COVID, that's a covered reason, right? Some insurances say if your job forces you to work, you can get a letter from your job saying you got to work, and that's a covered reason. So there are certain circumstances where they will cover the reason to give you a portion of your money back. Then you have the non-refundable no matter what, right? Because when you first, just like a car, when you first buy your car insurance, the minute you hit it, they don't give you your deductible or the cost you paid for the insurance back. They give you everything else back. So to me, I never know. I'm a cancel for any reason girl. Like anything can happen in my universe. And I don't want to be out a G or 2 Gs because I can't change it or the people I booked through are giving me a hard time. If I can pay an extra $50, $75, $100 to get all my money back when I want to, that's me.
Gotcha.
But you asked an important question, which is why would I buy it? When I'm traveling, why don't I just buy the cruise lines insurance or the airlines insurance? I'm on United and they say $20 to buy this insurance. Well, the key factor is, do you need to be covered from your door back to your door, or do you only want to be covered when you're with them? What do I mean? You buy travel insurance through your travel agent, third-party insurance, and your travel agent specifies that policy covers you from the moment you wake up that morning to the moment you get back home that night at the end of your trip. So if you get an accident in your Uber on the way, you miss your flight, you lose your bag, your excursion doesn't make, anything the travel agent booked, it's all part of your vacation, that's all included in the price, everything is covered under that umbrella. If I buy just from the cruise line, but say I spent 3 days at Disney World before I got on the cruise, only what happens on that ship is covered with the cruise line. Disney World is all on me. The Uber I got in an accident is all on me. My lost luggage is all on me. So I always try my best unless the company is offering some door-to-door coverage.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell my client, let's find you door-to-door coverage. Let's find you a comprehensive insurance coverage that should you decide you don't want to go that morning, you're not feeling good, got a little tickle in your throat, don't want
Yeah,
to travel,
yeah.
you can start getting some of recouping your investment because travel is an investment. Some people have saved for years for this vacation. Do you
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to just all of a sudden you test positive for COVID or you feel a chest pain and you can't go? And the airline's like, sorry, ticket's gone.
Definitely has
So that's
happened
one
to
of the key
me.
differences. That's happened to you, Trina?
Definitely happened to me. My daughter was accepted to Notre Dame. We all bought tickets to go to Notre Dame. And 2 weeks prior to the trip, she end up getting a call to go to UT. So we lost. Very expensive loss. So yeah. And then of course COVID came along. So by then our tickets were expired because they gave us a credit, but lots of things happened. Crazy.
Even those credits, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
suppose they give you a credit, because a lot of people say, oh, the airline's just going to give me a credit.
Uh-huh.
Suppose you can't use the credit in time.
Right. Exactly.
Suppose you're not going back to that destination. Like if I book to go to Africa and then I get sick, who's to say I'm going to go back to Africa ever again?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think, you want to keep your options open. And if you can just get your money back, why not? And it shouldn't be coming out of your agent's pocket because it didn't go into your agent's pocket in the first place. It's coming back through the insurance, just like when you hit your car.
Got it. Next thing is, let's just say if we decide if we're going on a cruise, I don't know if cruising and air is the same, but if in my case, because these are cruises that a lot of my guests go on, when we talked about insurance, that sometimes if changes are made and you can't participate, that you can be legally out of that money without the insurance.
Oh, always, because you signed a contract, right? So if I've booked a cabin for $1,000 and I've only paid the first $100, and then I decide not to cancel, the cruise line is looking for my $900. They're just not like, oh, okay, have a nice day, right? So you have a legal obligation, which oftentimes, if you're using an experienced travel advisor, they would have had you sign a contract, terms and conditions, sign your invoice when you made that deposit and clearly explained cancellation, changes, and what is non-refundable. So your first red flag when you're dealing with a non-professional is, did you just send them $100 and you never got a receipt? Like, did you not get anything in writing? What are the terms and conditions that you're operating under? When I go buy from Amazon, they got a whole box that they want me to check my terms and conditions. Now, if I don't read it, that's on me.
That's on me.
But
what about if you pay your whole thing though? What if I pay the whole thing and you and something happens so they have to move the trip to a different date? You also said you still could be out of your money.
Yeah, because suppose the ship it's different if the ship moved versus the agent negotiated the move. I think that's a little different too. Like if you're going on Sally's 50th birthday and you've already paid all your money and the ship decides we're not going to sail because of something, usually the company will make sure that everybody is moved over. And in the event that you can't go on that new date because your kid is graduating, they will then give you some type of credit, right? But if the agent has done something and they've moved the trip, right, that's when you have other things that you can do to protect yourself. But I think oftentimes people like even single and double, that's big, right, Trina? So me and you were roommates. We both decide we're going to share this cabin. Hey, we're ready to go. And I'm paying my installments, but you not.
Yeah.
And then when it comes balance due, you get an invoice from the agent that says Trina's half is $1,500. PJ's half is $1,500. PJ done paid in full. Trina's like, I can't find $1,500 right now. I'm not going anymore. You on your own, PJ. I'm going to go next time.
Has happened.
Now, technically, the agent and the cruise line can get together if we really wanted and sue Trina for her $1,500. Like civil, small claims court.
Right,
Like,
right, right.
you have a contract with me to pay $1,500. You breaking your agreement.
Your agreement.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people are nice and they'll be like, okay, you don't want to go. Let me see if I can find this cabin. Somebody fill this cabin. But what happens if nobody fills the cabin? So one of the things you can purchase is called single supplement insurance. So that when my roommate decides she can't come, I can file a claim with my insurance company and they will cover the difference in cost of me going from double occupancy to single. That's not for the agent to take a loss. That's not for the cruise line to take a loss. As a matter of fact, they should be coming after the roommate who didn't come up with their coins because they had a legal obligation to pay those installments. But if we never signed any contract, how can you take me to court?
Right. Got it.
I don't have a signed credit card form from you. I don't have signed terms and conditions. I don't have a signed invoice. We never made a contract. I don't even know you. You ain't got no proof in paper that we even did business.
Right. And that's something I think, and I'm just going to say for myself, for travel agents and clients, take that registration form very seriously, because I did have someone who, one of my clients did something, whatever, but they wanted money back, and they went through, PayPal to give people their money back real quick, and you have to prove that. And I was able to take that little registration form that no one pays attention to, that they signed it without reading it. They gave me my money back, because it showed this portion was non-refundable. And of course, they took it back out of her thing. So it looks like just a rich little piece of paper. That little piece of paper, when you sign your signature, it literally means something.
Yes, and people don't keep their backups, right? Because in many cases, American Express, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App will give them however many months, however many years to dispute your charge.
Yeah.
So if you can't go into your files as a professional and search for that contract you had with your client last year, when they give you 24 hours to produce a signed receipt, where's your paperwork? You can't say, oh, it's in a box. Oh, I can't find it.
Right. I got to go look for it. Yeah, definitely. And that's something I say all the time, that you got to have them receipts. And I mean, with anything to be nowadays, you got to have it. Even look, PayFlex. I love a piece of PayFlex, the prepaid tax thing. But even though it'll say I use my little card, I still keep the receipt, because they're going to come back. The day that I don't keep a receipt, that's when they're going to come back and want me to verify a purchase. Okay, so insurance. Wow, I never thought about. I sold the insurance from the cruise, but I never thought about it that much. You know what I mean? But that makes more sense. So I'll definitely have to get some more information on that, so I can help with my upcoming cruise to make sure people have the option to be insured. Let's see what else.
Let me ask you something. This is kind of a great discussion on this, because, we talked about red flags when it came to professionals. And one of the things that also protects you is errors and omissions insurance for your own agency. So say somebody comes and they want to sue you, right? So I'll give you an example. I was doing a wedding, and the couple put everything on the father-in-law's credit card. $100,000 worth of hotel rooms, flowers, everything. And at the end, they came to the Bahamas, stayed, and went home. And then the father-in-law disputed the charge because he himself canceled and didn't come on the trip.
Wow.
So he disputed the charge, saying $100,000. He never authorized this on his card. He wants all his money back. American Express immediately debited every one of those vendors, every charge he disputed. So the florist, the minister, the hotel, everything, right? So now you have the planner who's having a nervous breakdown.
Yes.
Because now her fee has gotten reversed. American Express asked her for two things: signed credit card authorization form by the father-in-law, to prove that he paid, copy of
Mm-hmm.
the front and back of his driver's license and card to say that you verified his identity, just like when you go to the bank, know your customer,
Mm-hmm.
and proof that he was there, meaning a photo of him in the
Wow.
destination. And we all know he didn't come, so we
Yeah.
couldn't provide that. But the saving grace to the dispute, even though it almost bankrupted some of the vendors because they had $40,000 and $50,000 reversed out of their bank account during the investigation, but what served was errors and omissions insurance, right? The fact that this planner was being sued and it was causing undue financial stress through no mistake of her own, but her good errors and omissions insurance came to protect her, give her an attorney, give her advice. And also, because she was a reputable company, her errors and omissions insurance helped pay back some of the claim. Whatever American Express decided she couldn't prove, that stood in the gap. So one of the things you want to make sure, just like, you're buying from a reputable dealer, you want to also ask your agent, do you have errors and omissions professional liability insurance? If I slip and fall in my destination, or if I need to sue you, are you made of straw? If I need to get my money back, or do you have insurance that will help pay me back? Right? Because now here you got these fly-by-night agents who say they sell travel.
Yeah.
You've given them their money, and now you want to claim because they've made a mistake or there's been a problem, and you don't have their business license. You don't have their seller of travel number. You don't know what, they're not insured with any company. They're basically just running out of their little house, and you don't even know where their house is. So it's fair to ask me for more than my business card and a Coke and a smile. It's fair to say, ask me for these things.
Definitely. So on that note, so on a cruise, or I don't know, for air travel, land travel rather, if you call Carnival and I put together a group cruise, what is it? My party on the sea. They can't talk to me. If I'm Joe Blow calling, hey, I booked this trip with Dreamtime Travel, they won't talk to me, right? So so they're going to say that they don't have any record of all this stuff. So what do I do to protect myself as a client, or to check to see if there's really a cruise under this name? What do I do?
Okay, that's a good question. So oftentimes, Carnival's a great example. Many of us use Carnival, sail out of Galveston because it's so easy, quick drive here. So there'll be 2 deposits with Carnival specifically. They'll have like a sale where you get the email and it's like, oh, low deposit, $25, $50. But then if you read it, it says in order to book a cabin, the deposit is actually like $250.
Right.
So the minute you opt into these $25 and $50 and $75 deposits, that's not a cabin yet.
Right.
That's not what we call berthing a cabin. That's that second deposit that shows on there that says it's really $250. They're just giving you a bly to help save a space somewhere on the ship. We'll put you in the closet or whatever if we need to. Right? It's just buying you some time. It's not really buying you a cabin. So if you're talking about a $400 cruise, because some of our cruises out of Galveston are 4-day, 3-night, 3-day, 2-night, you might as well just sail around and come back home the next day, right? So if you paid a $25 deposit and you're still paying your installments to hit that berthing deposit, then you're only going to have the receipt that came from your agent that also came from the ship that says this deposit was paid. You have a right to ask for that because they do take something for that. However, not until you berth the cabin and get to that second level of deposit do they assign you guarantee or cabin number 222 on the 7th deck. So what I would do if I was a savvy traveler and I would communicate with my agent is to find out, I see you have a reduced deposit of $100 on your flyer. What do I need to pay to guarantee my connecting rooms, to guarantee I have a cabin number, to guarantee my handicap accessible room? And whatever that amount is, that's going to get me a confirmation number and a booking locator. That's what I need to find for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You still can get stuck, right? Because what happens is it's okay to pay that reduced deposit. That's why they have it. It's a great marketing technique to be able to lock people in. But then you wait until balance is due, 30 days before travel, and now you want to come up with the rest of the money. You can't get connecting rooms. Them cabins have been gone a long time ago.
They gone.
You are by the bathroom, literally, by the elevator. you know, your cabin is this small. You want to add 3 more people to your cabin. All the cabins for 3 people are gone. Now you upset.
Yeah.
So if I was a savvy traveler, I would want to know, what do I need to get a confirmation number and a cabin number? That was my deposit. I would also, as the agent, communicate effectively the difference between a reduced deposit and a birthing full deposit. And all of my paperwork would say $100 deposit to low, but $250 birthing. And especially you're talking about an entertainment cruise. How much is the ticket to go see Charlie Wilson or to go see the Zydeco band? Like, that needs to be paid at some point as well. You can't be holding out thinking you're going to get on the ship, but you didn't pay me to get your wristband to then see the band.
Right. Okay. You have any other thoughts regarding that I might be missing? Oh, let's talk about gratuity. Let's talk about that.
Ooh. Talk about gratuity. That's been fun.
Yeah. Let me just say this. I was on one of those groups today and I saw someone asking, can I lower my gratuity? And somebody came on with a big frown, a big angry face on there. So talk to us about gratuity when we're traveling.
Think of you going to a restaurant analogy again. When you have a party of 6 or 8 or more, they make the gratuity mandatory. Yeah. Because they know people are not going to tip. Traditionally, people will walk out and not tip, and the restaurant has to do way more work for your group to keep track of your individual orders, to bill and split the bill to 8 ways, and then we walk out the door and we don't want to tip. We want $2 on the table.
Right.
I liken that to the same concept of prepaid gratuities. If I'm doing a group, even if the supplier, the cruise line, doesn't mandate gratuities, I mandate gratuities because I know traditionally my workers on the ship, the people who are servicing my clients, are going to work extra hard to make sure my client is taken care of. So I want to make sure that the grats are in there. And if they want to put something extra in an envelope, I also encourage that too. You know, I'll tell people it's a tipping guide. You're on a motor coach. You should be tipping $2 a day, $5 a day to the driver and the person who guides you. Same thing, right? So for me, there are certain companies that once you have a group, gratuities have to be prepaid. So that means it had to be factored into the advertised cost on the flight. There are some companies where it's not. So as a best practice, yes, if you're going to use a company where it's optional, you need to effectively educate your clients. If you don't tip, you're going to get crap service, just like a restaurant. So if you want your group to be taken care of and your family reunion, your family individual trip, then you should prepay your gratuities just to get it out of the way.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the way to go as well. Well, I'm trying to see what trips have you been on? Tell us about you and your travel experience.
What's your favorite place? Trip for work?
Huh?
Trips for work or trips for fun?
For fun. What has been your favorite trip or your favorite place? I'm sure you've been more than once.
So I did this one 10-day experience that I think so far has been my most favorite trip. It was a combination of planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh, wow.
I flew I flew to London. I took a train to the Netherlands and spent time in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I took another train back to Brussels so that I could enjoy Belgian chocolate.
Oh, wow.
I then came back to London, and then we took the ferry to go to France. So I ended up doing all of that as part of like a 10-day kind of solo trip experience. I had people
Mm.
that I met, friends, etc.
Uh-huh.
And I really had a good time. A lot of times when people think they're scared to travel solo or duo, just two people, especially as a woman. But, you can really work with an agent to build an amazing itinerary where you're going places you feel safe. Your
Mhm.
family knows where you're going to be. So, in case of emergency, they can find you. And you can really just have a great time. I ended up going to a music conference while I was in the Netherlands and Amsterdam. So, I
Oh,
try to put the whole trip together.
I bet that was
And it
cool.
was great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So solo travel. Now I'm scared. I'm still scared gonna be scared. My daughter believes in it. She for her my child is when she turned 30, all her friends dropped out of going on a trip. She was like, "Well, y'all can do what you want to do. I'm going anyway." So she went. She went to Mexico or somewhere. I was freaking out, but I know she have good sense because she did tell me that she got in an Uber and she felt like something went right, so she got out. So I do know my child have sense, so I feel a little bit better now. But so I saw this movie the movie called Taken.
Yes.
When my child first asked in high school to go to the Padre Island where all the kids go, I had just seen Taken. I was like, no, because I don't work for the CIA, the FBI, or none of the people he worked for. So I can't come get you. So, so what do you tell your clients who are thinking about doing a solo trip? Like, how do you, I mean, I'm sure they call and say, what do you think? Is it safe? What can I do to be safe?
Well, I do have a lot of clients that are millennials, ladies in their 20s, 30s, and 40s who
Yeah.
travel solo. And we do take very big precautions, not only with just travel insurance, but also travel medical insurance, which is different.
Mm.
Because if you want to walk into a hospital because you're not having something sticking out of me, I got stabbed with something
Yeah.
emergency,
Yeah.
but your belly hurt, or something
Right.
like that. You want to be able to walk and see an optometrist if something's going on with your
Mhm.
eye or you need to
Mhm.
refill your medication. So, one of the big things I recommend is also always travel medical insurance for the solo traveler in case your insurance doesn't cover you when you're abroad.
Where you're at.
I
Mhm.
also recommend being very, doing heavy research about where you're going to be staying, because when you are staying at like hostels, they have some hostels where it's like a shared bathroom down the hall.
Oh,
They
wow.
have some hostels where you have an in-suite bathroom in your own room. They have some hostels where you can't lock your door. So whenever you're leaving for the day to go shopping, you got to take all your luggage with you.
Oh gosh.
Or you have a shared roommate, so you're sleeping on top of your luggage like this so they don't
Yes.
pick your
Feel
pockets,
your stuff.
right?
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of custom itineraries for solo travelers. I have an agent in my agency, Lux Kanaya, who specializes in solo travel as well,
Hmm.
in being able to do those do's and don'ts. One of my really good friends and clients, also a soror, she did
Mhm.
like 8 weeks in Tulum in Mexico. And we talked about everything, where she was going to stay, where she was going to eat,
Yeah.
the bus system, being able to, find a community of people who were like Black in Tulum, who had
Uh-huh.
meetups and things like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I
there
never
are
thought
also
about
some
that.
really, yeah, and there's some
Meetups.
really great itineraries as well, Trina, which is they have companies that specialize in solo travel where
Mhm.
they can join an existing group of solo travelers and the itinerary is already identified. So I have a client who did Kenya, Tanzania, and Zanzibar, and they joined a group that was an adventure group. So it was a National Geographic themed group. So they hiked and did all of this stuff. But
Okay.
she basically showed up. They had a sign
And
with her
joined in.
name, and she joined this nice 12-day itinerary.
Oh, that is so
So you don't
cool.
have to do it yourself. Mhm.
You mentioned medical insurance. So there are some insurances that may not be accepted overseas. That's a possibility.
Yes,
Wow.
I had a client who had an aha moment. So she was a teacher. So they always say teachers got
Yes.
good insurance.
Yes.
So she was a teacher in Atlanta. She had a PPO plan. She was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm gonna be good." She's coming
Yeah.
off the plane in Jamaica, and she slips and falls down the stairs. Some of the planes, when you land, you got to actually go downstairs onto the tarmac and walk into
Uh-huh.
the thing. So she slips and falls. She uses her arm to catch herself.
Oh.
So now she's hurt. Her elbow and her wrist are swollen, and she's on the way to the dinner. She's like, "Oh, Miss PJ, I think after this dinner's over, I might need to go to the emergency room. I've taken a lot of aspirin. I think I did something to my arm. But I got good insurance." So, okay, let's go with your good insurance. So I take her to the emergency room. We hop in my car. We go to the emergency room, and they're like, "Yes, ma'am, we take your insurance. However, you have to pay $3,000 deposit to get your x-rays. Your insurance is going to reimburse you because we are in network to be reimbursed." She's like, "Oh, no, 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 no. That is not happening, right? I have insurance. Y'all are supposed to take my insurance,
Right.
right?" So of course, I'm being an insurance agent as well. I say, I'm going to call the X company broker
Mhm.
line because she
Mhm.
can't get the 1-800 number because it's a weekend. But I call the
Right.
broker emergency line and I get her on the phone with someone. And they said, "Yes, ma'am. Have you never read in your insurance that for overseas travel, you have to pay 100% up front and you file a claim when you get home? See you when you get home. Make sure you get 2 copies of the receipt." Click.
Gosh.
So she's like, "I need to have a credit card with at least $3,000 to pay for this. That's not the treatment. That was just for them to x-ray her."
X-ray. Oh
So
my
now
God.
think. So Trina, she was so mad. And I said to her, "Did you have the opportunity to buy travel insurance for this trip?" And she said, "Yes, I declined it because I figured I have good insurance and my credit card has insurance." I said, "Oh, what kind of credit card is that?" She said, "Oh, my XXX card." I said, "Call the 1-800 number for that too." "Yes, ma'am, you have to pay for it and we'll reimburse you and investigate the claim, et cetera, et cetera. And the deductible is like $5,000. So you're
Right.
responsible for the first 5 G's anyway." So guess what she said? "Well, I'm gonna tie up my arm with a scarf and I'll just figure it out till I get home."
Oh my gosh. That is a good story.
Back. Yes, I called her back when she got home to Atlanta and she had fractured something in her arm. So she would have more than likely, they would have x-rayed it, casted it. It would have probably cost her about
A lot.
$10,000 out of pocket.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So
Wow.
no,
Okay.
you can have the best American insurance. That does
Don't
not
mean
mean
nothing
it
over
works
there.
overseas. And
Yes.
don't have something like Blue Cross where it only works in your state. It doesn't even work in another state. So you go to Vegas, that insurance may not work out there either. They may want you to pay for it too. So some insurances are
Right.
state based. You
Yeah.
have Medicaid, you have CHIP, you have Obamacare, and those types of things. Some of them do not even work outside of the state.
Wow. That is definitely something I've never thought about. Me and my child will have to have a conversation too. Because I bet she's never thought about it. She's a traveler. So now can you talk to us about your business and how to contact you and um if someone's interested in maybe becoming a travel agent or even taking your business classes.
Yes, well, definitely. You can find me at pjsands.com hard. With pjsands.com, you can find out more about my business. You can see any of my entrepreneurial coaching classes. You don't necessarily have to be a travel agent because we focus on all things entrepreneurship, but we do have a special 1 month out of the week 1 week out of the month where we talk about travel specific stuff. And I do 1 week out of the month that I talk about insurance agent stuff in my Money Makers Mindset coaching. So you can find that at pjsands.com. And you can also reach out to me there and send a text, a WhatsApp, a smoke signal, however you'd like at the website. So if you're also interested in insurance, whether it's Medicare, health insurance for your business or for your individual family, I can also help you there too.
Yes. Well, you are definitely a Jack or Jill of all trades, PJ. And I tell people all the
Try
time,
to be, but
I know you have to be to you got to have these multiple streams of income now. Everybody's gonna need that. I've been it's another person that I met recently, and they had a workshop on generational wealth. And this new job I'm on, they're the new superintendent. He wants children in low income or in underserved areas to take different types of classes, like enrichment kind of thing. And the what is that? Houston Area Urban League. They're going to come into one of my schools and they're going to teach financial literacy to the kids. And I thought,
that's one of the things. That's such a good idea, Trina, because I've been doing free complimentary financial literacy classes for the last 5 years. Wow. And one of the best literacy examples I have, I have a good story. When I was 5 years old, my grandmother made it a point. She gave all the grandkids a piggy bank. And she said, as you spend the summer with her, you're going to save in your piggy bank. And at the end of the summer, we put on your finest clothes and you go to the bank and you meet the bank manager. And you get to deposit your money from your piggy bank. And the bank manager tells you at 5-year-old level why it's important, right? So we went to the bank twice, one to pick up the piggy bank and to get the initial lecture, and one to see how much we'd saved. And that's something that I would encourage everyone to do. If you have a niece, a nephew, a son, a daughter, grandchild, start them with those habits of saving early, paying yourself first. You give them an allowance of $10. They want a Roblox card because now everybody wants one. You know what I'm saying? Then you need to save $3 towards your Roblox card or your, so I think from that perspective, that's how the habits end up becoming good when you're an adult. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, right?
If I tell you, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I have some 70-year-olds who are like, yes. And they're like, I need to go work at Walmart now because I didn't save anything the entire time I worked. And that's a hard life when you're already supposed to be in your golden years, enjoying what you worked for, to now be a greeter at Walmart or be trying to figure out how to deal with the McDonald's counter and people.
Yeah, it's something. And the last thing I'm gonna mention when you say that is I'm eligible to retire at full retirement next year. But I was talking to a financial planner that came to our job, and I remembered that I never got into, because they don't teach you that. You just start working in your career and they give you these papers about insurance and TRS and 401 and TRIS. You have no idea. So you're just signing up for stuff. Never thought about this all my life, all my career. And when he mentioned 430 something B, whatever, for the teachers, whatever.
I never 403B. It's a 403B.
I never signed up for
that. You didn't?
No. All I have is TRS. And yes. So I was telling myself, I don't feel ignorant per se, but I used to, but I don't. But they just, no one ever tells you, in HR, they tell you, well, we can't give you any help, because they can't tell you where to put your money or whatever. And that's all I remember them saying when I was in my 20s, when I first started working in education, was, oh, we can't help you with that. It's like, okay, so what I do? And through those years, I just never just went on working and never really thought about, oh, I should have that. So yeah, I definitely think it's something that people need to look into.
And that's something I do for free as well. Like I'll have groups that I'll come out. I'm a Delta. I have other sororities, links, fraternities that will ask me to come on a Zoom or even show up in person to walk them through some of the things that we can do to catch up. A 403B is the educational equivalent, nonprofit equivalent to a 401k. So for those who like, oh, what is she talking about? It's just like a 401k, but in some cases you can opt in or opt out. Yeah. So when you think you're going to get more than the gold watch, if you didn't put that extra $100 per paycheck or whatever, then you might have only had what TRS put in or what Social Security has put in. And some jobs, when you're in education, they don't pay Social Security.
Yeah. And I'm if I retire next year, I'll be only 50, so I can't get Social Security until I'm 60 something, but I'll get it from my other jobs I've had that was in Social Security. But still, it's not the money that
you could have gotten.
Yes.
and that's why I'm all about traveling well and understanding wealth.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's one thing to have money and there's one thing to live like you're wealthy.
Definitely.
That's two totally different levels.
Totally different.
And there are so many things that we can do in our 30s and 40s and even 50s to play catch up. There's things that we have that old 401k from a job we left 10 years ago that we didn't realize we could go back and roll it over into something that will take care of home health care. Should we get sick? Should we have a stroke? Right? I know people who left a job 30 years ago and never looked back at that 401k, and they got $100,000 sitting with some company where they could have done other things with it. So, that's something I'm available to do one-on-one as well as in group setting.
Well, I'll definitely
have a whole team.
I'll definitely have to check into that because I have a new job, so I'm hoping I might like it, so I might stay a little longer. But they did tell me I'm not getting any more money even if I stay longer. So my time is next year. Well, PJ, this has been fun. I enjoyed you, and I like we talked about smart people, huh?
Smart people love smart people.
I tell people all the time. I got someone asked me. I think I might say, "Okay, I'm never gonna get a man." And so someone said, "Because you picky." I was like, "Picky? I just want to be smart and do right with their money." So I just want to be able. When I say I want to go somewhere, I don't need you saying you got to wait on your check. So that's what I don't want to do.
And the Bible says there's only certain things a man, if he could do those 4 things, then everything usually is taken care of. Protector, provider, love, and respect. Like that really covers it.
That is all I want. That's all I want. To eat and feed me, please feed me. But PJ, it's been so much fun. I love this, and we'll definitely do it again. Thank you for joining me for my birthday month. And this definitely was a really good, informative opportunity. And plan on doing some other things in the future, which I'm always doing something. But definitely the financial literacy is something that I would love to incorporate in something that I do eventually. So I will get with you on that. But for me personally, I definitely gonna have to have that conversation before I even think about signing those retirement papers. Because when the man told me that, I was like, I forgot. But anyway, if you want to have any last words for us tonight?
Well, thank you, Trina, so much for having you. I adore your mom. She and I work very closely together, and he brags on how much help that it's great working with you. I'm part of a mother-daughter, grandmother team with some of our businesses as well. So we know the stress it causes to work with your family, but the love is there. So thank you so much for having me, and if anybody wants to reach out to me for anything, pjsands.com is where you can find me, and send me a text or an email, and my team or I can get back to you to help you with your business or your individual needs.
Okay, and thank you for sending me the reminders, because I am going to jump on one of those calls. At first I kept saying, who's calling me moneymaker? That's what I was like, hi, moneymaker. I'm like, who is this? Am I making some money? Like, love it though. So I'm going to definitely jump on. So I love the way it comes on at me. It says I'm a moneymaker. Yes. So, okay.
Yes, that's what we got to be.
Yes.
My
pleasure.
Thank
you so much. And we will see you soon. And I know you'll be doing some
traveling,
so be careful.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Right. Bye. if I can hang up.